Fifth type of question types, multiple choice question, choose one answer. This is how it looks like. You have the instruction up there and the volume adjustment and recording progress bar, everything looks like the rest of the questions from this module. There's the question here, which is really important, and there are the options. So don't waste time on this one, but this is important. Communicative skills tested in this question is going to be only listening. You listen to a recording and pick the one right answer in a multiple choice question. Question can be on the content or tone of the recording, quote from PTE website. Meaning that not only you need to remember the content and keywords, but also need to understand it to the point that you can tell, for example, if the speaker was supporting a certain idea or approving a set of solutions or rejecting a theory, etc. You're going to get 2 or 3 of this question type in one test, and you're going to have 5 seconds before the recording begins, prep time, and the prompt length will be 30 to 60 seconds. Time of this question comes out of overall listening module time. As you know, the faster you answer, the more time you save for those difficult questions that will hit you out of nowhere later on the test. Negative marks, none. So you're not gonna want to skip this. There's only scores for correct answer, and there's none for anything other than that. So if it's incorrect or if you skip it, 0 scores. Only one choice can be selected, obviously, so it's not possible really to choose all of them to get the right one. That's not an option. And so there's no negative marks. Don't leave it blank. How to answer this? You have 5 seconds to skim and understand the question very quick. This is extremely important to understand what the question is really asking. If you misinterpret it, you're not going to know later, because I bet you there's going to be options for those who misunderstood the question to make them think they're picking the right answer to whatever question they have in mind. It's not like you misunderstand the question and there's not going to be any options, any answers for that among the options, and so you're going to go back and read it again and find out what your mistake was. No. Why would the question designer help you like that when they're those who made the trap for you to fall in? Understand the question well then. Okay, back to the main track. So you skim the question really quick to know what to keep an eye for. For example, how your personal narrative limits your future in the speaker's opinion. That's the question. Now, you might make a mistake and interpret it as, does personal narrative limit your future? And then there's going to be an option that says it doesn't, because the speaker briefly mentioned that it's the popular idea that it doesn't. However, she mentioned later that it's not true. But that option is going to be there, and you're going to pick it if you got the question wrong. You see how they can twist a very simple subject and trick you? Scary. Study then. Getting back to the main scenario again. So you skim question quick, and now you know you should look for the ways which in personal narratives limit your future. Okay? No need to skim the choices in that 5 seconds, as if you have the time to do so. There's no time and there's no need. Just read the question. Next step is to start writing down as many keywords as you can, with 2 priorities in mind. First, writing down shouldn't distract you from understanding the talk and following the meaning of it at all. So, understanding the talk is more important. Second, make sure to capture the part that is the answer to your question. You skimmed the question, you know what it is, now you'll hear for the answer. With having these two priorities in mind, write as much as you can, as long as it doesn't interfere with those two priorities. Now, you might ask, okay, we read the question, we know what the question is, why don't we just write down the answer and then just tick the answer? Because first, you might narrow down to two options, for example, and then you can't decide which one contains incorrect details, incorrect information, and so is the incorrect one. If you don't have the keywords, if you didn't write down the keywords, you won't be able to do that. That's when those keywords from those little details and supporting ideas and examples can help you. Second reason is for a situation when you read the question, but you misinterpret it. You are thinking of something else, and then you find the answer to that wrong question. You have the answer to that, and you're gonna go and tick it, but then you realize that you understand the question wrong. Maybe you look at the question again and just something goes on in your mind, okay? Then it's good to have some keywords, some information to help you with answering the real question, because the recording is going to be played once only. Let's quickly do a recap of this method to answer this question. So in preparation time, you read the question, you make sure to understand it well, and then the recording starts playing. You write down all the keywords, all the relevant ones to whatever the answer to that question might be, because you read the question, you know what to look for. When it ends, you have your answer, you found the answer to the question, or you roughly know what it was. Now you go through all the options and check if you really got the answer right, and if there's no better option, you tick the right answer and hit next. Well, in PTE Guide, in their website, actually, the official website, they talk about 4 categories of questions for this question type. It's good for you to know about it, so I thought it's good to go through it, just so you have an idea of what kind of questions you might get. First type, asking what was the main focus or main idea or cause. Example, what was the main cause of the company's collapse? Second category, asking questions around supporting details. Example, what aspect of past transport policy does not speaker mention? Third category, asking about speaker's implication or conclusion. For example, what does the speaker suggest that the factory may have to do? And last one, asking about speaker's purpose. Why does the speaker talk about the fall in car ownership? This is good to know. It kind of prepares your mind for what to expect. Now, don't get confused here, but I want to explain a second method to answer this question too. I still suggest the first one that I talked about in the beginning, but I've noticed this on one of the test preparation slides in PTE website, so there's no harm in knowing about it. So in the 5-second preparation time, you skim the question very quick. Okay, now you have 2 options, 2 methods for the next step. I say for this question type, only read the question and don't look at the answer options. Try to draw the answer to that question yourself by listening to the recording and getting help from the keywords that you wrote down. And then find its match in the choices, and also go through all the choices and make sure that's the best option. This way you won't get tricked by all the twists in the options to mislead you to begin with. But PTE official website advises to read the answers too in the prep time to see, for example, which keyword or what part of the answer they are playing with. Here's the quote. I quote from the website. Quickly read the question and answer options to make sure you understand the topic. For example, in the sample, the question shows that the speaker will talk about the future, and the options show you they all include the word media. So you are listening to hear what the speaker thinks will happen to the media in the future. Quote ends. So that's their reasoning for that, but I think this opens the question designer's way to trick you with all little deviations around that subject or that keyword to make you doubt your choice. Plus, I don't think 5 seconds is enough to skim questions and all the choices too. So again, I advise the first method, but just know that there's second method that people talk about. Okay, what do we do when things go wrong? The emergency scenarios that could happen for this question type is that 1, you don't have time to even go through the question and answers and just have to click one of the choices quickly because there's no negative mark, that's why you want to click. Or 2, you didn't understand anything of the topic at all. For the first one, if you absolutely don't even have time to look at the options, just hit 1, seriously. There's no negative mark for wrong answers, and so it still gives you 25% chance to get the mark. But for the second one, assuming you didn't understand anything, you still listened to the clip and you heard the words. Read the question if you haven't in the prep time. Go through the choices and eliminate the ones that are obviously wrong. Next step is to eliminate ones with the words you're pretty much sure you didn't hear. For example, if it says one of the reasons behind racism is social discretion, and you're pretty much sure you didn't hear social discretion, eliminate that option. Now, you've eliminated options with unheard words. Now look if there are 2 options that are very similar and just conflict over one of the facts. The answer most probably is one of those 2. See which one makes more sense, and if you have no idea, just pick one. Now you have 50% chance to get it right. If there aren't 2 similar options, then you should still be able to eliminate 1 or 2. This will increase your chance to pick the right answer. Don't forget, all this we talk about should happen in under 1 minute. All these steps have to happen really quick in your head. You must save as much time as possible for harder questions, which you also actually have a chance at understanding and answering correctly. Reminder again, don't do this in a normal situation because it doesn't work all the time. The right answer sometimes might be a paraphrase of what you heard in the lecture, and so the exact words aren't used for that. I put this in emergency section because if only you absolutely understood nothing about the topic, then this is your last resort. Okay, now let's get to the example question.